we would not believe how sketchy some people are in this music business. The story is so frustrating because I can only imagine that there are so many other artists out there that go through the exact same situation. So for the last year, I've been working with a really talented touring artist, and they got a record deal that I helped review and negotiate. And even though I stood to get a percentage of that deal if it went through, ultimately I said, this is a terrible deal. Do not take this. And this is by far the worst contract I've ever seen in my life. Under my advice, we walked away from the deal. And I felt really good about that, helping them avoid this situation. So not too long after that, that same label entered into a JV with a management company, and they offered a similar deal to the artist. And the lawyers for that label sent me the contract because we had worked on the first one together. And pretty soon after that, I got a message from the manager that said, hey, disregard that. We didn't mean to send that. So I called my client and I said, what's going on? You know, they're offering another deal. And they said, yeah, they're offering another deal, but it's just a management contract. It's not a label contract. Don't worry about it. And since I'm a music lawyer that reviews music contracts every single day, I know what a label deal looks like. And this one was 100% label deal. And they said, no, our manager is really, really pushing for us to work with this other lawyer that he knows. My alarm bells immediately went off. Why was this manager so interested in separating the artist from their lawyer so that they could work with this other lawyer? And I guess they went through with that deal. And because I'm close with the artist, I asked for a copy of that final signed agreement. The attorney charged 4 times the going rate that an attorney would generally charge in a label deal such as this. And the only logical explanation for why that was so much and why the manager was pushing so hard for them to hire him, because the manager stood to get a kickback from the lawyer for referring him those services. And if you think this is unethical and corrupt, you're absolutely right. There is actually a rule 5.4 in the rules of professional conduct that govern attorneys that we are not allowed to share legal fees with non-lawyers. And the good, ethical ones will absolutely never cross that line. In other words, if somebody refers you to me, it's because they respect what I do and they think that I'll be the best person for the job. That it's not always the case with every lawyer out there. I think the practical advice for anybody watching this right now is if anybody is ever pushing you to work with somebody else, very respectfully ask them if they are getting a referral fee, because you deserve to work with who's going to be the best person in your corner, not just the person who owes somebody else a favor.